Let me give you a little background of what's been happening, give you some overview comments, and then we're going to get right into the meat of this. Okay. One of the things that happened since our last webinar was I got an email from someone named Alva, and I put her email to me together with a audio recording, a telephone recording that we had. And what I want to point something out, and you're welcome to go to it. It's on our blog, so you're welcome to go to it, okay, after the meeting. But what was important about that is he was reading one of the articles that's on our Optimal EFT section of our website that says, "I'm not a body, I am free." And in the process of reading that, she flipped into one of these spiritual experiences. It was really interesting. I've never seen that before, but she wrote to me about that. And I put the whole thing, and we talked about it, I put it on the website for you. But one of the things I want to emphasize to you that's in this recording is during this process, during this experience, she had no needs. Now that's important to recognize. It's a very different state. I had the same experience when I was in my spiritual state as well. There was no need when you're in that state, meaning there was no need for food, there was no need for water, there was no need for money, there was no need for everything. It's a much different state, and everything was just taken care of. Now that's the exact opposite of running around inside of a physical body in the separated state. Here we have all kinds of needs. There you have none. Very interesting. She didn't stay in it forever. She's back out of it. She was left with a knowing, but all that's there for you to look at. But I do want to emphasize that point too, that this experience that we're trying to borrow from with Optimal EFT and approach if we can, or achieve if we can, is really quite different, altogether different than what we're used to. Now, I also had correspondence with Isabel Vagos from Portugal. And I put this out on part of this out on our Facebook pages, and there's a recording on our website now about it, where her mother had a serious stroke some years ago. Some tapping was done with her improvement, but with some Optimal EFT, the improvement got massively bigger. She's now walking 5,000 meters in a day. And she recently fell, without holding on to anybody, by the way. And there's a video of her actually walking where it is almost completely perfect. Okay. And she also, I understand from Isabel, fell a few days ago. And her recovery typically, she wouldn't even walk typically, or even try to walk for 2 or 3 days after that. She got right up within a few minutes of Optimal EFT, started walking again. Now, these are all the really nice stories that we hear. I don't want to mislead anybody. These stories are indeed possible. We will be telling you more and more and more, but that doesn't mean everybody gets these results all the time. I'm telling you our success stories here. We have a lot to do for everybody to work through and so on. And it doesn't work for everybody all the time just this way and so on. I just want to make sure we're talking about that. One more thing I want to mention before we start having conversations with everybody. There's an article on our Optimal EFT website. It's one of the introductory articles, which I wrote, which is called True Healing. We've talked about it before, but it's the kind of thing I want to emphasize again. When we, in the separated state, as we think of healing, we think of healing of the physical body. We think of healing as, oh, my headache went away. I can see better now. I can walk better. My back pain is no longer there. We tend to measure that in terms of how the body feels. Understand, we're trying to get to a point where we're accessing things outside of the body. True healing, as I put forward in this article, I want to emphasize here. True healing really has to do, let's say it differently. The unseen therapist, her effort is at true healing, which means to heal the belief that we are separate. That's the major thing that the unseen therapist is doing. That is true healing. When we get to the point where we're not really this body, we are this other state. The more we get to that, the more we are approaching true healing. And so that means that as we open the door here and use unseen therapists, its goal isn't necessarily to take care of our headache or our physical ailments. These things tend to happen anyway, but they happen as an echo of a more of a deeper effort done by unseen therapists. So we need to keep that in mind as these things happen. That there are things that can occur where it appears like nothing whatsoever happens, but something happened. It appears that nothing happened because there was no physical sign of anything. But what does happen in the background is the unseen therapist chips away at this belief in separation. And those kind of things happen. So some of this stuff is invisible. I'm going to give you one example, and then we're going to open the floor. A good friend of mine, some of you know of her, Sherry Baker. She's an expert in the Course in Miracles and so on. She was telling me a while back, she was dealing with someone with the tapping form of EFT. This was a few years ago. And it was something that the tapping form of EFT typically just took care of easily. I believe it was a back pain, if I recall it correctly. Tap, 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 but she could go nowhere with it. It just wasn't, she was going to go nowhere, and it was a mystery to her why that would be when it was so easily done with almost everybody else, you know, with physical tapping. Turns out, as time went on, this lady with her back pain went to a chiropractor. That chiropractor then helped her with her pain in the chiropractor's manner. But more importantly, there was a relationship occurred. She ended up marrying the chiropractor. Unseen therapist in the background, I'm suggesting to you, knowing this kind of stuff, okay, and it knows why you have your ailments at a level different than we do. Now, was that coincidence? Maybe, well, perhaps, but I've seen too many stories like that. And I do want to give you this idea about what true healing really is. Okay, now what I'd like to do is I had some correspondence with somebody we talked to last time, and that is Howard. And so Howard, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find you on this list. Actually, it's Cheryl and Howard, I believe, that you've listed up at, and I'm going to unmute you as soon as I find you. There you are. I'm going to unmute you.
There.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you fine. Yes. You wrote to me after we helped you, the group helped you last time.
Yes.
And if I recall it right, your groin pain stayed at a low level.
Yes.
Okay. I think it was a 5 or something like that and went down to, I forgot, a small number, but
then it fluctuated a little throughout the week while further healing occurred. This was after the heart cath.
Okay. And your breathing since then had become easier. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there were some other positive things that had happened. Anything negative happened? I mean, any reversion back or anything like that?
Yeah. What happened is that the times when I'm not breathing as well got a little less, but the breathing was much harder. And I think what the therapy has done in conjunction with some electromagnetic pulses that I use, which help with the breathing, it's made that more effective, and it will get me to the surgery, which is next Wednesday, so that they can do a triple bypass and a new heart valve. And I'm not sure, without all this help, that I would have got life would be as easy as it is right now.
Okay, we don't know that for sure. I mean, some of this can be coincidence and all of that. So I'm not sitting here pounding the table, look at all this, it's magic and everything else. It's just that we see so much of it, it's hard to ignore doing all this. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you're going to agree with this, Howard. I'm going to suggest everybody do the same thing we did before, but with just a little bit of difference this time. Okay, and that is we all close our eyes. We bring an unseen therapist, become Howard, bring an unseen therapist for Howard's heart and related issues. Okay, but with one little difference. First of all, that's okay with you, Howard?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, the difference is, before doing this, I want to kind of combine something we did last time with this, and that is, before doing this, assess for yourself. Take an inventory of your own body. I mean, everybody, Howard can do this as well, but I'm talking to the whole group now. And if you have physical discomforts of any kind, just make note of them. If you have more than one, you say, give them a number. This one's a 3 and that one's an 8 or whatever it may be. Just notice that before we do this. The idea is, since we're all one, this is similar to last time, since we're all one, we're going to aim it at Howard. And then we're going to notice afterwards, even though we're not aiming it at ourselves, we're aiming it at Howard, and we are all one, did you personally receive any reduction or any improvement in your own physical discomforts? Okay. Now, before we do that, Howard, right now, do you have any physical discomforts that if they improved, you would know about it as a result of this exercise?
Yes. I can poke at the spot on the groin where they went in for the heart cath, and it's still tender to the touch.
Okay, but that's the only thing you have.
Everything else seems fine right now.
Your breathing
my breathing is my breathing as good as it is?
It's not as deep.
Cheryl says my breathing's not as deep, so let me take a deep breath and see.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be able to assess a change there too.
And what number would you give it now?
Well, I'm going to use a reverse scale. If full breathing is a 10, this would be around a 7.
Okay, well okay. All right, a 7. Okay, so let me just walk everybody through this for a minute. We'll just do this, okay? If everybody would kindly close your eyes and get quiet for a moment. And then imagine yourself being Howard with congestive heart failure, a heart that is not working as it should, a calcified aortic valve, arteries that have been blocked to the point they need surgery, and the heart is laboring. And just imagine that, and then bring in the quietness, unseen therapist in whatever way you wish, be it some light, be it just a loving presence. Just bring that in with the idea of bringing healing to Howard. Let's just be quiet and do that. Okay, Howard, take a deep breath for me. Tell me if you're still a 7.
No, it's at least a 9.
Oh, it's at least a 9. Are you noticing that as well, Cheryl, when you hear him breathe?
Breathe, take a breath. I would say 8, maybe 8.5.
Okay, all right. Was he in your view accurate with his 7 he had before?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great.
And the groin tenderness disappeared. It's down to less than a half or a quarter.
Okay, okay, great. Well, a quarter or a half to me is non-existent because I can poke anywhere in my body and get to a quarter.
I had to poke a lot to find. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Howard. What I'd like to do now is to have anybody who would like to share their experience, raise your hand. I see a few hands raised here. So I'm going to call on some other folks here. Here is Wendy Williams. Where are you?
I'm right here. I don't know that I'm unmuted.
Well, you are. I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay, great. Hi, thank you very much for taking my call. And I just wanted to say that I did have some abdominal discomfort that I assessed it being a 5. And after we were done with our time of silence, I would say it's less than a 1 as well. And I was very pleased to hear that Howard had a positive effect. And I just to weigh in on that.
All right, great. The abdominal, can't even say it. The abdominal issue that you had.
Yes.
Had it been around for an hour, a day, a month, a year, what?
Oh, no, thankfully just an hour. I'm basically a kind of a healthy sort of a person, but when you asked us to kind of scan for something, I did feel that, you know, I would, instead of sitting up, I would prefer to be laying down because I had some abdominal discomfort. But now I'm sitting up, and after our time, I'm fine.
All right, great. All right, thanks, Wendy. Virginia, see, we talked to Virginia last time. Virginia McConnell.
Here I am. Yes, I played tennis for like 40 years, so I have a bad right shoulder, and you know it bothers me a lot. And so I've had it for so long, I didn't even think to use it last time when we were doing all this. So I decided, well, it bothers me, I won't do this. And it was about an 8. And now I don't feel it at all.
It was an 8 just before what we just did a few minutes ago, or it was an 8 last week?
No, it was an 8 today, just because I didn't think I'm so familiar with it, I didn't think to work on it. So this time, that's the only thing I had wrong, and it's gone.
It's gone. Okay. Well, okay. I sound like a broken record sometimes, but it's necessary to do this. To me, that can only happen if you are somehow connected with Howard, because you were doing this for Howard, were you not?
Yeah.
That's evidence of all the oneness involved.
Yeah.
His issues, while they seem to be much different than yours, he's got a heart issue, you've got a shoulder issue, okay? At the foundation of that are other emotional issues that you have in common.
Oh. Okay.
Well, for example, the belief in separation.
Okay.
Okay, that would be one. But there's just things that we have in common, and that what I'm trying to do is just give people insights into what might be happening here. So anyway.
So nothing would have happened if Howard and I didn't have something in common.
Well, we don't know that for sure, do we?
No.
But that's why we're doing all these experiments, because last time we had a lot of this happening, and now we're having some more this time. I mean, is it just coincidence that suddenly, as you are trying to help Howard, your shoulder goes from an 8 to a 0?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little hard to call that coincidence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've had this for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about years.
Oh, okay. And when is it, in all the years you've had that, has it ever been 0 before?
No. God bless whoever that was. No, it has not. And I've tapped on it before, you know, when it's been bothersome, but it's always there.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes it's worse than others, but I feel I'm moving it around, and I'm not feeling anything.
Okay. All right. Well, a little magic. Okay. All right. Thanks, Virginia. Okay. Let me see. P.I. Gunter.
Oh, that would be me.
That would be you. Yes.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Everybody. I have several questions here. I made an observation, so if there comes a point where you just want to mute me to shut me up, then I'll be okay with that.
Okay, but let's mention one thing. It is tempting sometimes to run on and on, so we need to be as concise as we can, okay?
Okay, well, mine are questions, valid questions. First, I want to tell you an observation.
Okay.
I watched the video you posted from July 1st, the website, the workshop, and because we are one, and because there is only now and time being non-linear, I experienced, we'll call it a change if we don't want to call it a healing, but I experienced a healing while watching the video and doing the exercises from the video.
Ah, oh, hugs and kisses for you. This is wonderful, okay, because it allows me to make another point. You indicated in there that since there is no time, okay, which is true in our, from quantum physics point of view and spiritual point of view, etc., there is no time, even though in this separated state, time is all over the place, you know. I mean, you got here on time, you're going to leave on time, you're going to, you go to bed on time, all that stuff, okay? Time. So here you are watching a replay of something that happened some other time, okay? You're doing it along with it, and it doesn't matter that it happened several days ago or last week or whatever it is, okay? That's a really interesting point, because these things can be done, people can be watching these things later and still get the results similar as if they were here. Okay, so listen. You get the trophy of the day, okay?
Okay, well, it's good for people to know that. I want to say I've had a shoulder injury, a rotator cuff. It's been nagging for about 10 years. I measured it at a 7 when we were going through the exercises, and I think we were going through them for, I remember the gentleman, Gary, what's his name? Howard. And his wife, right. So that was in the workshop. So my shoulder went from a 7 down to a 4 the first time we went through it. Then it went to a 2 overnight. And just as we did it for Howard again, it went down to a 1.
And this is what you were doing on a previous.
Right. I went from the 7 to the 4, then to the 2 last night when I was watching the video.
Yeah, okay.
And then when we did it today, I went to a 1.
Okay. One other minor correction there I'd like to make, and Howard just mentioned this to me. Cheryl is not Howard's wife. Cheryl is Howard's very dear friend.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
But
All
anyway, so we got other people with their hands raised. Did you have another? I'm going to give you one more question or one more thing, okay?
Okay. So my other question is, you know, there several disciplines take the same approach, including scientific mind treatment. Ernest Holmes, I'm sure you know all this. How does optimal EFT hold in consideration the subconscious mind? What were you thinking when you came up with the concept of unseen therapists?
Well, okay, what you have to recall is that my own spiritual path practice is A Course in Miracles. I'm going to emphasize again, I'm not pushing on anybody A Course in Miracles. It happens to be my path. As a result, what we're really looking at here is my way of going about this. I can't do it your way or somebody else's way, okay? It is my way. It is yours to adopt completely if you wish, borrow from pieces if you wish, reject pieces if you wish, and so on, all of that. As far as subconscious mind and a lot of the concepts of these other healing processes, this is just, to me, it's different. I don't even get involved with the subconscious mind. I may talk about it or something or other, but for this purpose, okay, and I never thought about this before, the subconscious mind might be redefined as this other state that we are trying to approach, the oneness state. Okay, subconscious mind and a lot of the other psycho-speak things that are developed, remember, they are developed within this illusion, within this dream, by other people who are also in this dream. And so it's a concept that comes out in the dream by people in the dream. And what we're talking about is something outside of all of that. We're trying to get outside the dream, outside the illusion. And so that's not to say these concepts are not useful or something. They're very useful for those who want to use them. I'm just not using them for reasons I mentioned. Next one would be Loretta.
I'm kind of feeding off of the last comments that were made. Many people are talking about their physical pain.
Yeah.
What about spiritual trauma or emotional trauma?
Okay. So far in these webinars, I have done little or nothing to address those, and yet they are among the most important. What I'm trying to do so far is just get the idea of this oneness, and we can start with the physicals because that's easier for us to define and so on. I do intend to start getting to the emotional stuff, but I have to establish some criteria for that, because emotions aren't easy to put in a box like a pain is. Okay, and I am going to get there. In fact, I've got in mind doing a little bit of that today with one other person that I know about. Okay, did I answer your question, or is there more to it?
Well, that answers my question, but at the same time, if this is an area that you are kind of working with, I would be very interested in participating with you, because my experiences in the past 2 years have been very much emotional and spiritual trauma. So I'm just kind of offering. Okay,
well, but let me ask you, you said in the last couple of years, and first of all, we're in a rather public environment here. So chances are you're not willing to get into all the details. I don't know that, are you?
I can share some.
Well, okay. For now, let me just ask a couple of generalized kind of questions, and then you may be able to find some aid in something I'm going to do with someone else later. Okay. And I'm not necessarily speaking for you here, because you and I haven't had that much of a conversation, but what I do want to say is, in my experience, someone who has had recent kinds of traumas, which you talked about the last couple of years, okay, while those can be important to address, I have found with great regularity that those are bouncing off of unresolved issues from a long time ago, childhood and this kind of thing. The angers and guilts and stuff we may have currently are bigger than they would have been ordinarily, because they're bouncing off of unresolved things in the past. I only give you that concept, okay? Because I like to go back as far as I can. Does that fit for you, help for you, or do you have any?
That fits for me, because just recently those have been areas that have been explored and have been tapped.
Successfully or not?
I think we're just in the infancy of this, because this is just opening a whole new world for me. I mean, I have been very open to spiritual things, empathic, intuitive. I can understand that, but my own experience, it just became very frightening, because it opened up a whole nother area.
Yeah, and I'm not sure this is going to be the place for that, because see, thank you. It gives me a chance to say something else. One of the feedbacks that I get as a result of doing these webinars is people will talk about, oh, gee, I got this great physical healing. And as I talked about early on, when we first started this, that's not necessarily true healing. The emotional, the spiritual becomes a better target for true healing. So I'm tiptoeing into this. I mean, you can hear my hesitancy, because I've dealt with people with very, very, very severe stuff, and I don't know how to do it in a public place like this.
And that's fine. You don't need to do that. But I was just very kind of open to learning.
Well, I think I am going to do that in time, but I've got to tiptoe into it. I've got to start learning. I've got to start with the more general kind of stuff first and see how people respond. Okay. And then gradually get into more and more deeper stuff. But the inclusion in the optimal EFT process of the gold standard EFT structure, which is part of it, which gets down into the details of things, the specific events and this kind of thing. So we do this thing very thoroughly. is an important piece to it. So far, we haven't done much with that. We've really kind of been sort of general and surfacey at this point. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Thanks. Sharon Dewell.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Gary.
Hi.
I just had a question on optimal EFT with things like food addictions, overeating, those kinds of things where the guard at the gate is especially tenacious. And in the very first EFTs, we were doing, say, 3 rounds of the setup phrase for psychological reversal, and then it kind of, I think it went down to 1. And I was just wondering, with your experience with optimal versus the gold standard, including all of the, getting down to specific issues and all the whole realm of EFT, just without the tapping, using the optimal. Have you had experience with those kinds of things to see how, does it, because I understand a lot of things you can get for faster with the optimal, and I just wondered if it applied to that kind of issue.
Yeah, indeed, it applies to all of those things. The method is different, takes different kind of thinking, etc. But yeah, it applies to all those. I think with optimal EFT, we're probably going to be a little more efficient with it because we got some help that we don't have otherwise. But it's I'm not putting forward as we had the answer to all addiction problems in the world. There's a lot of emotional stuff behind them. There's a whole lot of things going on that need to be looked at. There's a guard at the gate all over the place. And so it's a real challenge. But I think optimal EFT can do a more efficient job once we have climbed our own spiritual ladders higher and higher and higher. We can do more and more and more with that, and with other things that were seemingly difficult or seemingly impossible.
Right. I guess I was looking from the point of view of maybe not working with somebody who's got this great experience, but if you're on your own and working, and so you have your guard at the gate. I just was wondering if you had, your ideas on that. I think you gave it. So.
Well, I'm dealing with the guard at the gate all the time. I've been in that spiritual experience, yes, but I've come back and I got to sit there and deal with a white little guard at the gate myself. I'm forever catching my own thoughts, et cetera, and saying, well, you're just back in separation, Gary. The only difference is I know it now and I didn't know it before.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is Claude. I hope it's the same Claude as last time.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I found you.
Finally.
Okay. Actually, your name isn't Claude. It's Shelley, is it not?
That's right. It's my husband's email account.
Okay. So go ahead. What's your question or comment?
Well, today all my anxiety left me. I have to travel today, and I have a severe anxiety to travel and to being in a vehicle. And it has just completely left my body.
It left your body during one of our exercises?
Today, yes.
Which exercise, or both of them? Or
the first one.
The first one. Okay. Yep. And we were aiming at physical things.
Yes.
Okay. But nonetheless, an anxiety. Give me some sense of that. I mean, how did that anxiety show up before, and what is it now?
I have lived with this since my brother died. It's severe. I can't get in a vehicle with strangers. I cannot go in heavy traffic without freaking out. I have my own brakes. I can cause an accident because I freak out so much. It's terrible. It's debilitating.
Well, and so just before we were doing this group work with Howard in this case, right? That's when you're talking about? Okay. What were you feeling just before that? Was your heart pounding? Were you had anxious feelings, et cetera,
yes,
for the anticipation of having to?
I'm going somewhere today, and I was anxious all morning going there because I have to go through heavy traffic, and it's gone.
Close your eyes right now, if you would, Shelley, and imagine yourself as vividly as you can being in heavy traffic. I'm going to have you try to get upset about it.
Okay. I went to Florida last year, and I was terrified the whole way. Terrified.
Well, yeah, but can you get it back? I want you to try to get it back somehow. Put yourself in a car.
I'm going to cry. Think about it.
Okay. All right. All right. So you can get back to that anxiety, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Now, this is really important for all EFTers. What I just did was test the result through having her go back and try to reimagine, try to get it back. So what we got here was a very good temporary or at least partial or some kind of result like that, because before the Howard exercise, you had anxiety. After it, you don't. Okay? At least as far as you were anticipating that. That does not necessarily mean you can get in the car and get in traffic and not have anxiety. You won't know that until you get there. Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
This occurred when I had an occurring nightmare for years. Reoccurring nightmare for years, and then I thought it was me in the car, but then my brother died in the exact same manner, and the nightmare stopped. But now I'm terrified to be in a vehicle, and my son has the same problem. He won't come with us to the party today because he's afraid as well.
How is your anxiety right at the moment?
It's fine still.
It's fine. Okay.
But I don't know how I'm going to be when I get in the car this afternoon.
All right. And that brings me to another point. I may have erred in saying that you were completely over this, or excuse me, it was only partial.
At the
you
moment.
won't know till you get there. What you may have plugged into, we don't know till you actually get in the car and go try it.
Right.
It's what we call the fear of the fear. You know what it's like to be in a car. So when you mentally put yourself in that car, in that traffic, you know how it would be. So you're afraid of the fear itself. Once you get there, it may or may not be there. That's the ultimate test. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to say or ask a question about?
No, I just hope my son will come with me this afternoon. I hope this session will help us both.
Well.
That we can go together.
Is that your son right next to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Was he part of this whole experiment?
Yes, he's been sitting with me all this time.
Okay. How's your anxiety?
Bad.
It's bad.
It's always been bad. It's been since I was 12. I'm going on 21, so it'll be about 9 years soon.
Okay. And is it constant?
Constant small anxiety attacks, and sometimes the best example was last night where my entire body started to burn while I was sleeping, and I woke up. I was dizzy, my heart was racing, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And at that point, I just laid back in bed and told myself, if it's a heart attack, well, I'll have a heart attack. If not, well, then it's anxiety. So luckily enough, it was just anxiety. But I also have 2 partially blocked branches in my heart.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to try. Is it okay with you if the group works?
Yeah. No.
Works for you?
Oh, don't roll over my toe, please.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay. All right. So everybody, if you would, let's close our eyes. Let us be Daniel. And let's imagine this turmoil that causes the anxiety. We don't know exactly what causes the anxiety. We're just going to generally call it turmoil. And get the sense of that turmoil, this jitter in the system, if you will. And then calmly and quietly bring in unseen therapists to do something in a healing fashion with the anxiety. See you in a minute. Okay, Daniel, do you have any noticeable change in the anxiety? You don't have to have it, by the way. Whatever is.
Well, the anxiety, technically, it's on and off. It comes and goes. Currently, I haven't really had anxiety throughout the entire seminar, webinar, however you call it.
Oh, okay.
But this morning I was anxious, but since I sat down and started watching, I felt less anxious. So this is kind of the moment where I just go and drive and see what happens, how far I can manage to drive, if I can drive, go to my destination.
And that would be the test. And if you do get some anxiety, you can just stop and do this again and do it again, and chances are you're going to get some relief. But we don't know that until you actually get out and test it and try it.
Exactly. It's basically the fear of fear.
Yeah. Well, and it could be the fear of the fear. We don't know until you go out and try it.
I'm wondering that if the tapping itself was contributing to the healing, are we handicapping ourselves by not adding in the tapping to this process?
In my experience, I've been doing this for months. I can do everything that I could do with the tapping, I can do with optimal EFT. Mm-hmm. However, with optimal EFT, I can oftentimes go further, faster, more efficiently.
Okay.
Now by the way, that's my use of it. And I have a lot of experience in these things. Other people who may not have my experience may want to blend optimal EFT with tapping for a while until they get more used to optimal EFT, or maybe even stay with tapping. It's going to be up to you which way you want to go.
One more thing. With the optimal EFT, do you notice a difference in success rate between like doing it in a group where everyone's doing it versus like one-on-one or alone?
Yes, I don't have exhaustive statistics or anything like that, but in my observation, you can use optimal EFT for yourself, all by yourself, if you wish. Yes. And you can get results. I think the results tend to be better if you're working with someone, because remember what we're doing here is we are accessing spiritual love in this process, and love is not a solo thing, it's a joint thing. If you have two people, great, it can add to it. If you have more than that, it can add still further, and we're exploring some of that by some of our exercises we're doing in this webinar. I want to go to Erwin. Erwin. Erwin, there you are.
I'm right here. I'm unmuted by host. Okay.
Okay, you and
I just want to say one thing real quick. We have a lot of thunderstorms in our area, and we lose power quickly out here. If we do, I'll call you on the phone. I just want to put that out because I could disappear with this thunderstorm.
Okay. Well, don't call me on the phone while we're on the webinar. We'll talk later. Okay. But I want to make sure, if we're going to do something here in your behalf that would be helpful for the whole group.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that it's okay with you if we discuss the details of things that you and I discussed on the phone.
Yeah. Yes.
Etc. That's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had an accident 6 years ago.
Yes.
And you fell and you hurt things in your neck and other parts of your body, and it aggravated some injuries you had had even previous to that.
Yes.
And things go downhill. Very serious issues are occurring. A lot of vision issues, and we could make a list this long of many physical issues.
Yes, and they're all at a 10, and they're very serious.
Yes. Okay. And you're dealing with them right at this moment.
Oh, yes. I almost passed out during waiting.
Okay. So what I want to do here is go back a little bit over some things we talked about before to lay some groundwork so that when we do a group work here, people have more of a foundation to what we're doing. Okay. So in our previous conversation, it came up that you were Jewish and all of your family was wiped out during the Holocaust, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You were not involved in the Holocaust yourself.
No, I wasn't alive.
Okay. You weren't even born at that time.
Right.
Okay. So as our conversation unfolded, it turns out that there's an underlying belief someplace, albeit illogical, that you deserve to die.
Yes.
Okay. And we worked on that, you and I did. And but then I'm going to ask you something. I want you to say this sentence for me and then tell me on a scale of 0 to 10, how true does it feel? Not how true is it logically, how true does it feel? Just say the sentence and then tell me, I deserve to die.
I deserve to die. You know, I hate to say it, but it sounds true. I mean,
okay. Well, that's why we're testing, okay? Is it a 10 true, an 8 true, a 6 true?
Well, maybe a 7.
Okay. Now, we dealt with that last time. If I recall it, it was a raging 10 when we dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
It came down to 0 or 1 or something small while we were dealing with it last time. We were using optimal EFT. Okay.
Right.
And so I always want to test these things later. This is a nice big broad thing. It's got lots of feelers to it, lots of specific events underneath it, and all kinds of things that lead up to this belief. Okay. But it was a 10. So residually, you're now calling it a 7, which means we did something between then and now. Yes, no?
Yeah, maybe. My physical symptoms are so intense that it's really hard to judge other things. But
yes, okay.
But I can tell it's, yeah.
Okay. Now, logically, not emotionally, do you deserve to die?
No.
Okay. Logically, that's a 0. You don't deserve to die any more than anybody else.
No.
Okay. But see, we have this emotional response to things, and by the way, I do this as testing a lot with people. It's called the Say This, and that's listed on our website, etc. Say This testing. But as we got underneath all of that, I started asking you about, well, why did you deserve to die? And among your responses was, well, because I should have been able to help my family survive the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what came out. Now, of course, that's illogical. You weren't even alive, right?
Right.
So logically, you could have done nothing anyway. But somehow or other, this belief is still there, as illogical as it may be, that you deserve to die because you couldn't help the Holocaust, your family in the Holocaust.
Yeah, and like we talked about before, without going into the whole thing, things happened in my childhood that were very traumatic that reinforced it, you know.
Yes. And here we now we get to a lot of specific events that we would need to go to and so on. So these things are addressable. These things are relievable, even with physical tapping, because we would need to get to the specific, each of one of those specific events. And as we would undo each one of those, relieve each one of the specific events, the table legs holding up the tabletop, okay? As we would relieve each one of those, you would get more and more freedom on it. And this emotional thing that I deserve to die, which may well be behind all the physical symptoms, which are pointing you in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we could do that. Yes. It would take time. It would take somebody who knows their ways around EFT well, do it skillfully. You're not going to do it with these silly little scripts that people use and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, I am doing that with somebody.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And the more you do that, yeah, I remember talking about that too. And the more you do that, the better, and so on. Okay. Now, yeah, I remember that. Okay. So what we want to do here is to try optimal EFT, bring in the unseen therapist. That doesn't mean that we're going to go in and take care of all these little specific events, every single one of them, et cetera, here. Because even if I were dealing with you one-on-one, we would still take several sessions, I think, to start with optimal EFT to get in there and start relieving these things one by one, piece by piece, in all the details that it may well require. That doesn't mean that we couldn't bring in unseen therapists, the whole group, in your behalf, and have it do whatever it can do. Okay? So that is what we're going to be doing here for the moment. And like we did before, I want to alert everybody to this time we're going to do something a little differently. I don't know where this is going to go because it's hard to put these things in a box. But everybody that's going to participate in this, how many people are there? I don't know how many there are right now.
116.
All 116 of you, okay? Identify for yourself a physical discomfort of your own, like we did earlier on, and assess it's 0 to 10. And if you have more than one, assess more than one of them, etc. You might also, here I've got to make my instructions clear. Zero in, locate a specific event in your life that is still a bothersome memory. Not something like, oh, my parents were always abusive. That may seem specific because it's parents and it's abusive, but it's not. A specific time, like the time I was 9 years old, in the car, we crashed, and I could hear all those screams, and I was terrified. Okay, that is a specific event. Okay, so locate a specific event. Give that a 0 to 10 rating as it bothers you now. Now, so long as you've located that, put them aside, put them on the table, put them someplace else. You just located them. We are now going to do all of this for Irwin. We're going to aim everything at Irwin. And we're going to see if Irwin gets any result that he can notice, and if you get any results you can notice. This is an ambitious exercise, but we're going to do what we can do, okay? So if everyone would close the eyes and imagine being Irwin with the idea I deserve to die, the Holocaust, and all these other specific events we don't know anything about that gives rise to all that. Imagine how that would feel, and then bring in unseen therapists to calmly take care of it. See you in a minute. Okay, Erwin, do you notice anything different?
Physically, no, physically I don't.
Okay.
Right. There's so many things.
Yes, okay.
But the major thing is hasn't changed. The most serious thing.
When you say most serious thing, you're speaking about a physical.
The physical thing, yeah.
And what is that specifically?
The left side of my body is very, it's from my neck injury. It's very numb, and it's been getting worse rapidly. So my arm, my left leg, my left side of my face, it's terrifying. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do another round, and this time we're going to zero in on the left side of your body. We're going to be Irwin. Left side of our body is numb, and we're going to say it again.
Oh, partially numb, not.
Well, partially numb, but
yeah, I can still move.
Okay, we're going to bring in unseen therapists to do, if we can, some relief to that left side of your body.
Yes.
So the numbness goes away. Okay, so let's give that a try. One of the things I do, by the way, in this, well, here, I'll talk about that as we close our eyes and go to it. So anyway, close your eyes and imagine being Irwin. Left side of your body is partially numb, and a lot of that comes from the neck injury. So bring in unseen therapist. What I like to do is just swirl the light, swirl the love around the neck area. That's where a lot of this comes from. Healing the neck in whatever manner needs to be. And then sending that love up and down the left side of the body over and over and over again. See what we can do. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, Erwin, do you notice anything different?
Not really.
Okay. Say this for me. I don't deserve to die. And tell me what number you get to.
Well, that's different than what we said before. I don't deserve to die. It's different than, right? Before you said I deserve to die.
Oh, okay. I deserve to die. I deserve to die. Yeah, I deserve to die. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
I find it more powerful than the other one, saying that. But okay. I deserve to die. It's still weird. It's a weird thing to say. Yeah, I still feel it's true. Maybe it's a 6. But it's...
Okay. All right. But the physical went no place.
No, maybe, hopefully later it will, but it's...
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, and listen, I'm glad because we get so many stories that people say, voila, it must be magic. And I'm so glad that we don't have it's not happy for you. I know, because you want magic, okay?
I want magic.
Yeah, I know.
Miracles. I want miracles.
Yeah, I know. But we're dealing with realistic stuff here, and we don't always make the kind of headway we want to make for reasons we're trying to understand ourselves and so on. But I think it's worthwhile giving one more shot at it, okay? So, this time we'll close the eyes and let us just focus strictly on the neck. Let us just send swirling love around the neck, healing the neck, because I am correct, from that neck emanates a lot of the other issues.
Yeah, pretty much all the issues.
Okay, and are they collapsed discs? Herniated discs? Or what?
They're degenerating disc, and they're pinched nerves, and it's pinching the blood flow too.
Okay, so we want to imagine the degenerated discs expanding, growing, regenerating, if you will.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I want. Yes.
And the nerves no longer pinching and all this kind of stuff. So let's just do that. Close the eyes. I'll give you a little instruction and we'll go on through this. So imagine yourself as Irwin's neck. And imagine the
4th and 5th vertebrae.
Okay, if you know where those are, okay?
Yeah,
The fourth and fifth vertebrae, imagine them degenerated disc regenerating, and the pinched nerves finally have room to breathe, if you will. Just imagine that happening with unseen therapist help. See you in a minute. Okay, anything to report?
It's really hard to tell, but I don't feel that much different.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I would not give up hope, however. To me, with my experience, this is something where we're going to need to really get down to the specific events of the past. You're doing that already with a very well qualified practitioner from our list. I know there's more to go there. You may want to go to the optimal EFT route on it as well as the tapping route. But cleaning those out, you know, it's like we got to take care of the foundation first, and then we can start doing some other things. That's my take on it, anyway.
Yeah, and you said something to me on email, the phone, I remember, that's very helpful, is that I can't remember a lot of events, you know, and you said just make them up. And when I thought about it, it made perfect sense, because I can make up so many things that feel like they happened to me.
Yes. And you can get very upset about them.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and so on. See, and that's very useful, because it's while that seems fictitious, it's coming out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes these made up events, if you can't recall real ones, are actually better than ones that were real, because you can put all kinds of stuff on a made up one. You can really get worked up, and that gives you a lot to resolve, you know. So
and they're worse than anything you can think of. You know, it's like I'm almost afraid to say, "Hey, help me with this." Not you, but anybody, because it's so intense.
Yeah, but it's your emotional response to these things that counts.
Yeah.
And just to come a little more full circle on this, I have dealt with many people over time that have had physical injuries, and you have a physical injury, where we'll go tap, 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 because I was doing tapping in those days. And we wouldn't get very far, or a temporary, or something like that, you know, until we got to a major emotional core issue involved. And once we got to the core issue, then the body heals normally. The body is supposed to heal normally.
Yes.
In my experience, one of the main reasons it doesn't heal normally is because we're carrying around unresolved emotional issues, and it thwarts our healing, you know. So that's why people who go to physical therapists after automobile accidents and the like, instead of being in there 6 months in therapy, they're out of there in 6 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that, if they're doing EFT along the way, because they're collapsing all this other stuff along the way. So I don't know, that same path I would suggest for you, Erwin.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you, and thank everybody that was on the call for helping. I appreciate it.
I got to make a comment to you. From talking to you on the phone, I hadn't met you by video until now. There's something about you I want to reflect to you. There's a loving nature. I know you're in pain, but there's a loving, sort of gentle, beautiful nature about you that just emanates all over the place. My guess is other people are seeing that as well, because it's really hard to miss. You might miss it, but it's obvious to me. I just want to leave you with that. Okay?
Well, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate that.
All right, bye. Sunetra, S-U-N-E-T-R-A. T-R-A.
Yes. Hello,
Hi.
it's me. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good.
Okay, I'm a beginner. I have one question. That is the healer affected by negative thoughts of a person?
Wait. There's an accent difference here.
Yes.
Yeah, so a little slower for you, if you would, for me, okay? Go ahead.
Okay.
Try it a little more slowly, please.
Okay. Is the healer affected by negative thoughts of a person he's trying to cure?
Oh. Is the therapist affected by the negative thoughts of the person? Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with me.
No, you're a professional. I'm a beginner.
Okay. Well,
I'm learning, yes.
It didn't happen with me when I was a beginner either.
Okay.
However, some people report to me that they pick up the issues of their clients.
Okay.
In fact, that question I think was even asked in our last webinar, a similar question. And I don't see it very often. I mean, it's a very small percent of the time, but when it does happen, it seems to really bother those that it does. My only way of going about that for now is here's a way where tapping could be useful, even though I seem to pick up these thoughts from my clients and do some tapping like that. That may well help it. But generally speaking, the therapist doesn't pick those things up. The other thing I'll say is in the tapping form of EFT, the therapist in the main appears to be in charge. That is, they are the one dispensing the wisdom and the healing. They know how to do the tapping and all of that. And that, for the therapist, can be draining, can be very exhaustive at the end of the day for them. They've seen many clients and with optimal EFT, once you have really gotten into what it does, you're turning the actual therapy over to the unseen therapist. You're not involved. You're a guide. You're helping to find the specific events. You're helping to find the details and things like that. Yes. But the actual therapy work, you're not doing. And as a result, one way you'll know that you are using unseen therapist well and optimal EFT well is at the end of the day, you are less tired. In fact, you may be very energized at the end of the day. Okay. That was a long answer to your question, but you allowed me to cover more than just that answer.
No, one more thing. Excuse me.
Sure.
Then is it necessary to charge people for this service?
I don't, but for some, yeah. No, it's not necessary. There's no requirement that you charge people for it. You can do it for free if you want to. A lot of people are in business. They need to pay their bills and this kind of stuff. So of course, they would charge for their services.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Okay. Let me see. Dawn.
Yes.
D-O-N, Dawn.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Look at that nice, happy face.
Very good, Gary. I want to, first of all, thank you for making this webinar possible that people can learn and experience some of this stuff.
Sure.
My questions are regarding connectedness and oneness and the role of ego in blocking aforesaid.
Yeah, you mean the guard at the gate?
Correct.
Okay. Is that the question?
Well, to be more specific, what role does ego play, or guard at the gate, in blocking our ability to not only heal ourselves and connect with others?
Oh, it's the main villain. One could even say it's the only villain. Good question, Don, but let me back up a second here because I want to say it a little different way. If there was no guard at the gate, That is, there was no ego, no resistance to this giving up or getting beyond this separated state, being in a body and so on. If there was no resistance to that, unseen therapists can come in and we would not have to have this webinar. The whole idea of therapy would disappear because it wouldn't be necessary. There would be no resistance whatsoever. Just come in and whoop, all done. Okay? It is our ego, it is our belief in separation and our guard at the gate ourselves, resistance to really going home, if you will, to really getting to that other state. We think that to get there, we have to give up everything else. And we're very, to us, it's the unknown. And even though we yearn for it in one sense, we're afraid of it on the other. And so the guard at the gate and understanding the guard at the gate and our own resistance to that is the real issue involved. That's our real chore. Is that ego, that belief in separation. That's why I said earlier, when the unseen therapist comes in, it's really looking for true healing, which is to unravel as best as possible, despite our resistance, okay, this belief in separation, because once that goes, everything else goes with it.
And can you give a specific example of how to control or limit this ego or guard at the gate?
It's more of a process than a specific example of doing that, okay? I've been at this for years. And I am forever catching myself with my thoughts and everything else, with all the training that I've done. And remember, most of mine is from A Course in Miracles, okay? I'm forever catching myself being in the ego's lap. I'm in it right at this moment because indeed I am talking to you from a body that even though I realize it's not, I realize it's a fiction, I'm still in it and I've got to take care of it. And when this thing is all done, you know, I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy some food to feed it, you know, and I'm going to house it and pay mortgage payments for it. And all that kind of stuff and all that goes on. So yes, I still believe in it. And it's a process for me to go from the 100% belief in it to gradually getting to the point where, now we're over here. But that is a process. So it's really one of awareness more than anything else, rather than a specific thing that one does. I'm guessing I'm not hitting the bullseye of your question.
Well, you know, I have walked this path for a while myself, and one of the things I found was that a lot of people's concepts of ego doesn't necessarily match the reality. The reality of ego for me was the fact that I was viewing everything through my own eyes instead of more abstractly. When I talk about I want or I need or I am or me or mine, that was my first really baby steps in learning about ego and the role it played in my life.
Well, yeah, and the I and the me and the mine are all part of this separated thing we believe we are.
Okay. And I find it curious, you know, I've followed you for a few years now, and I find it curious now that you're not charging for this. If that has facilitated your connection, your oneness, by separating money and ego from the spiritual aspects of this.
That's a good point. I forgot where I said it, but somewhere along the line I said I'm doing this because in my own spiritual teachings, A Course in Miracles, there is a phrase that says no one should be turned away because he cannot pay. Okay. Now that doesn't mean all therapists out there have to, you know, quit charging for your, etc. But I found that very freeing to be able to say, here it is. I have no requirements that you send money my way. I have no requirements that you put me on some kind of a pedestal as the great leader in the sky, you know, onward and upward to heal the world. We're doing this together. Yeah, I'm kind of a leader kind of thing. Yeah. But I'm getting out of that. And so giving it free just took all that away. It was almost like a burden. Now, we do have bills. Yes. Websites aren't free to do, but we do have a place for people to donate if they want to. And that seems to be doing the job, you know, so.
Thank you, Gary, for everything you've done.
All right. You betcha, Don. Diane Womersley.
Hello, Gary.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much for this. You mentioned briefly that there's a way of combining EFT with optimal EFT. When you were talking a little while ago. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, because I've found, I mean, I haven't been I've been doing this for about a year or so, and it was only after I discovered what you, optimal EFT, and what you've written about it, I got incredibly excited about it, but also got a little bit of fear and trepidation, thinking, how is this going to work without the tapping? It's almost like the physical act of tapping is like a security blanket, for want of a better word. And I found that just recently, working with people who can't identify issues, they have so many of them, and certain things that they can't actually identify, I've become aware of what I call a loving heart, because that's the image that I saw of this warm, rosy pink, sort of womb-like shape. That I immediately sort of felt this is just a loving presence, which I called the loving heart. And it was like being able to hand over the undiscovered issues, handing them over to the loving heart to take care of them, combining that with the tapping. Now, does that make sense, or am I totally going down the wrong road?
I don't know if any of these roads are the wrong road, okay? But the loving heart, to me, is another way of, that's another name for the unseen therapist, which is also another name for God, Spirit, Holy Spirit, higher intelligence, and on goes the list of names for it. So I'm not sure what the question is, but let me just respond. I personally am using only optimal EFT. That's the only thing I use, because I sit in a different chair than many people do, and I'm sort of a trailblazer, so to speak, so I need to do that, all right? Other people are so used to tapping, including clients, that they continue to do the tapping and gradually do the optimal EFT, and they sort of blend it. It'll depend on the client sometimes. They just don't want to go there at all, you know, so you do some tapping, okay? And others do, but for me, I don't need to blend them anymore. I don't have any difference in, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not uncomfortable at all using optimal EFT because I have so much experience with it. If you're a beginner at it, it's like anything else, you need to develop more and more experience. That's why I have on the optimal EFT lessons that are there. I basically say, okay, pick out like a physical thing and do this, bring in the unseen therapist to take care of it. You're probably going to stub your toe and fail for a few times. All you need to do is get 1 out of 5, and at least you've done it. And now you see the unseen therapist can do something, okay? That's the only part of that. And then you do it some more and more. Next thing you know, you're getting 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 because you get more experience with it. And then you're on your way, and then you can do some of the refinements we have and things like that. So I think it's a matter of just practicing and getting used to it.
So I had no sense at all.
You what?
I've had no success with it at all, whereas a lot more success with the tapping.
Well,
sorry, I'm sorry to say this, but when I watch your videos and I see you working and hear you talking, you are so far miles ahead and far away that I think, well, am I ever going to get there? I mean, you're a complete master at this, and it's quite intimidating.
Oh, I don't know whether to say thank you or what on that. But, wherever I've gotten to along that path is really because I am climbing the spiritual ladder myself and have been doing so for years. Now, I think with the optimal EFT material, that if you study it, I am saving you years and years and years of time, because I'm condensing all the stuff that I had to play with and stub my toe with and fail at and everything else. I'm condensing it down to a shorter path for you. It may be, and again, we're experimenting here, it may be that some people just are really going to be unable to do this. I have a hard time buying that, because I think what really needs to happen is it's just you keep at it and you keep trying. Eventually, you're going to get a success someplace. Eventually, something's going to happen. And that's all you really need to get started with. What did I do? That happened. Yes. Okay. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And also, as you come into these webinars and we do group healing and stuff, you're watching it happen even though you aren't doing it yet. Actually, you are helping. You just don't know how much help you did. Okay?
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much.
You betcha, Diane. Okay, Austin Murphy.
Hi there. Hi, Gary. Thanks very much for taking my call. I wanted you to share with us a little bit about how you prepare yourself or what process you go through in receiving the unseen therapist, as you call it.
I don't go through any process. How's that for an answer?
It's a beginning.
I remember years ago when I was kind of studying some of these things about surrogate, this, that, and this is even before EFT. And there was always this routine you had to go through, like I had to be quiet and I had to ask permission for God to do this, and I had, I don't know, cross my arms and wiggle my toes or something. This routine you had to go through in order to get in this state to do whatever this thing was you wanted to do. And I would try that. It just seemed like a waste of time to me. Maybe it's important I'm stepping on somebody's toes here. I don't know. But to me, why not just do it? Why not just, first of all, imagine that I'm you. Boop. Okay, I'm you. Okay, I no routine, no nothing. I just in my mind I say, well, okay, I'm Austin. Okay, and then bringing an unseen therapist. I've done it lots of ways, but there's no the way to do it. Sometimes I just being quiet and I just imagine some light coming in from the top of my head. This is unseen therapist, and it comes in and does whatever it needs to do. Other times I've imagined it just being a little glimmer of love, maybe in the center of my body, which expands. I just imagine that happening, expanding. Okay. I mean, that's a matter of sitting down, I think, Austin, and just practicing doing that. And after a while, you don't have to practice anymore. You just do it. It's just, I think. How am I doing?
Well, I just wanted to get your experience of it. I have had, I've had my own experience of enlightenment and have had this oneness experience. And I have studied and trained with some of your trainers on doing EFT. The optimal EFT is new to me. I'm kind of like wondering, do I give up the tapping? How does this work in my life? So it's a matter of integration that I'm kind of looking at.
Well, yeah.
And just kind of curious about what that experience is for you as you in my terminology, you open yourself to the divine to wash through your body, basically, and become an anchor for that, or a vessel for it in the moment.
Well, I practice it like I mentioned, but I will say something else. I've been a student of A Course in Miracles, as I've told everybody, since 1986, actually. And that's been, 30 years or thereabouts, almost 30 years. And there's a series of readings in there that you do, and there's a series of daily lessons you can do and so on, all of which are designed to get you higher and higher up the spiritual ladder. I'm not saying you need to do that. That's just what I did. And in the process of doing that, subtle things would happen. People that attended my live workshops I did that have been on film and everything else would watch me on stage, and they would comment to me later on about, well, Gary, how do you get to those core issues so fast? I mean, it would take me a lot longer, etc. And I had to think about that for a while. But what's going on there is I have gradually developed the ability to listen to spiritual messages, if you will. And they don't come, with a great big now hear this kind of thing. They come with notions and things like that. I'll be on stage with somebody and I'll just get an idea. It'll just occur to me to ask a question. And darn it, that question just doesn't lead right to where we want to go. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so that's me plugging into that. But that's not me being born with some magical tool that nobody else has. We can all do that. It's just a matter of, it took me a while to get there, and I've got a lot farther to go. I'm still needing to ask, and I'm never sure when I'm getting the right answer, so to speak. What's my own chatter and what's really an answer. But somehow, for me anyway, in the environment of being on stage or one-on-one with somebody, I'm somehow getting myself out of the way, and these notions occur. I've talked about this before someplace on film, I think, but I'll say it again. I remember I was talking with some lady, and this wasn't on stage, it was on a one-on-one session I was doing with somebody. And I kept getting the notion of sister in my mind. And it just started showing up. So I said, well, okay, maybe we ought to, I'm getting this notion about your sisters, maybe we ought to just do something with her. Tell me about your sister. She says, I don't have a sister. Well, okay. so it goes, all right. We got to dealing a little bit more, and it turns out she had a major issue with a nun, sister so-and-so, okay? And it was important enough for me to keep it in the background, because somehow or other there was something about sister we needed to deal with. And of course there was a big issue. She had a big issue with sister, whatever her name was. Okay. So that's just how this goes. But the more my message here is, the more we practice EFT or optimal EFT, the more we get into it, the more these things start to happen, because we're getting more and more and more in touch with the spiritual side, with unseen therapy. We're getting more in touch with it. I see. Maybe at first we're just tiptoeing, but later on we're walking, and after a while we're running. But it takes time. Mm-hmm. I get very long-winded sometimes. How do I do?
No, I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Austin. Okay. Last question is Anna Garcia. Where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my dear. I remember talking to you the other day. All right.
Yeah, you're perfect. You did great. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for today again. I think this is amazing anyway. I think it's an incredible platform. So thank you so much. Just a couple of things in regards to the first time we did optimal EFT. Maybe this actually might help Sinatra. I took a few notes, from some of the things that people were saying earlier. I noticed something. I've noticed the same issue with optimal EFT that I had with surrogate EFT, which is I am one of those that actually not picks up, they just feels everything in my body.
I'm sorry, you need to speak a little slower because I'm not quite getting it.
Oh, sorry. Let me see if I throw the microphone a bit closer. I noticed today a similar issue doing optimal EFT as when I have done surrogate EFT for some clients, right?
Okay.
And that is
so you've noticed a similar issue doing optimal EFT that you've noticed when doing surrogate EFT.
Yeah.
Okay.
First, when we were working for Howard, right, for the heart problem, and then I said, okay, I'm Howard, and I started tuning into him, I started getting this pain in my heart, and I started getting like a faster heartbeat. And then when we finished the exercise, that didn't stop. And even as we were talking, right, that stayed there. So what I did then, I had an idea. I said, okay.
Wait. Just so I'm summarizing right. So you were doing this thing with Howard. You noticed your own heart. You noticed some difficulty with your own heart, and it was beating faster, among other things. And so then even after that, the heart issue seemed to stay.
Yeah, well, the pain, it was a pain in the chest. So what I did then is when we were working for Virginia afterwards, right, the lady with the fever,
yes,
I had an idea. I said, okay, let me do what I do before I do sessions with my clients anyway. Is I imagined a bubble of white energy around me, right, and then I called in the on-scene therapist, right, and visualized Virginia in front of me, and then the on-scene therapist was working on her. I was tuning into her, but she was working on her. And what I noticed is I yawned a couple of times, and then the pain from my heart and the symptoms I got when I was working with Howard, they actually left.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Now, since we're exploring and we're new at this, I just got feedback saying I'm trying to do it with somebody else, and I got not a positive response. I got a negative response. I want to know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do about that at this point, but that is a point of, that is more evidence, by the way, of oneness.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's it. Right now, that's a puzzle to me, which I'll have.
Well, you see, maybe the reason why this may have happened is what I said to you the other day, that I'm a psychic medium and I'm clairsentient since I was little, right? So since I was little, if I was around people who felt pain, I could feel it in my body. It's always been a problem for me my whole life.
All right.
Right? I tested this again when we were working with the next person, right, with Daniel, right, for the heart. And I felt this, again, this really sharp pain in the pit of my stomach. And then I felt this huge urge to cry. And I was seeing him when he was 12, and I have a feeling, his anxiety may be related to that. But anyway, I did it again like the first time, without putting the bubble, and the same thing happened. And when we worked for Erwin at the end, I put the bubble again, and then it cleared again. So I'd say it's a good tip. Maybe I tested it twice today,
Okay, okay.
At least for me, anyway.
Yeah, so, okay, and that can be very helpful. Okay, so you're one of these people who picks up other people's stuff. I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have when you do that, you have a way now to deal with that, which is to put the thing in a bubble.
I put myself. I visualize these white lights all around myself.
Okay.
And then
Okay. And so this white light, this bubble, is like an insulator?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
I feel I'm connected to the person through intention, right?
Yes.
But energetically, there's like a buffer there, so I don't pick it up.
All right, and that works for you. I would hope it works for other people. I don't know.
So. I hope if it does, I'm glad it's if it can help.
Yeah.
So.
I would love to get feedback from folks if that are listening in that try that and have success or not success with that. Just let me know. Let me know so we know what's going on.
And the other thing, sorry, Gary, is I was wondering your opinion on this, because I was thinking about what Sharon was saying about the overeating and then finding the guard at the gate very, I don't remember the exact word she used, but something like stubborn or resistant, And I was wondering what you would think about dealing with it as some kind of psychological reversal, like we do with EFT, like a PR, psychological, and then see if after doing that, then the guard at the gate felt a bit more at ease. I was wondering.
Well, you can try that if you wish, but one of the things you may not be aware of, Anna, is that the whole idea of psychological reversal.
It's an aspect, yeah.
Well, no, it has been abandoned.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
That has been covered on our tutorial. It's basically another name for secondary gain.
Yeah, well, I call it PR, but yeah, secondary gain.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it isn't the kind of thing as originally thought, where if you were psychologically reversed, your energy runs in the wrong direction, your polarity is reversed, and all that kind of stuff. So I really haven't used that, but yeah, in a way.
I meant it more like an aspect. Yeah, some kind of resistance or something like that. Yeah.
But you bring that up, in a way, dealing with the guard at the gate, a way to look at that, I hadn't thought about that till you asked this question, but a way to look at that is that the guard at the gate is our secondary gain. That is, we really don't want to give up all these things about our bodies, okay? We don't want to go over there to this grander place. We want to stay within these bodies, and that's a secondary gain. Although it's, in essence, is one we don't want. It's also something that we do want. It's a real conflict going on, okay? So you could look at it that way. I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time on it myself, but you could. That's a way.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. That's it for today. We're going to have another one a week from today at 10 a.m. I will announce all that, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, all.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.